Welcome to our course, Organ Donation, From Death to Life, in which we will cover all the essential aspects of the deceased organ donation process. I'm David Thompson, and I work in the Critical Care Department and the Transplant Unit at Groote Schuur Hospital and the University of Cape Town. I've been a doctor for over 15 years and have a passion for teaching organ donation and transplantation. I firmly believe that with a better understanding of all that is involved, we can greatly improve the number of lives saved by transplantation. Our course is divided into 4 modules: brain death and consent, withdrawal of treatment and donation after circulatory death, the deceased organ donation process, and ethics in organ donation and strategies for improving deceased organ donation. Each topic will be presented in a series of short video lectures. In order to complete the course and be eligible for a certificate, please complete the multiple choice quizzes and peer assessment. Each week should take between 2 to 3 hours to complete. Let me tell you a bit more about each week. In week 1, we will discuss the dead donor rule and informed consent, without both of which deceased donation cannot take place. We will then take a look at the history of determining death, the mechanism of brain death, and review the story of Denise Darville, the donor of the world's first heart transplant. We will look at the preconditions and testing process for brain death in detail, including the role for specialized ancillary investigations. There can be no room for any doubt. We will end week 1 by looking at the issues related to informed consent. In week 2, we will cover what it means to have a good death, the principles of medical ethics at the end of life, and learn an approach to the withdrawal of non-beneficial treatment. We will discuss the certification of death based on circulatory criteria, and we will learn how, in certain situations where intensive treatment is withdrawn, it may be possible to honor a patient's wishes to be an organ donor. We will also cover the donation of tissues and explain what happens to the body after organ and tissue donation. Week 3 focuses on the organ donation process itself, from who can donate to what can be donated. How is the donor managed, and what does the organ donor operation entail? We will then explain how such a scarce resource as donated organs is fairly allocated. There is an overview of the various organ transplant operations, and finally an interview with 4 recipients, all given a new lease on life by a single donor. Week 4 examines the role of religion and culture on organ donation and the effect of money and travel. We will discuss organ trafficking and look at the steps being taken to stamp out this abhorrent practice. Ultimately, the best way to prevent such exploitation is to ensure good access to transplantation, and the best way to do this without putting any lives at risk is by maximizing deceased organ donation. We will end the course by looking at models for improving deceased donation. We want you to be completely confident in the process of death certification, in dealing with grieving families, and comfortable with all aspects of donation. You will have an understanding of the process from start to finish, and we hope become a knowledgeable advocate for organ donation.